All right. People had asked about this. Zinc, brass, and copper cane bender. And I have a young lady that's going to help me out shooting the video. So I want to do a close-up here. Okay. Bear with us because she's helping and this is not her equipment. This is a cane bender. See, I've got it attached to a piece of plywood and then I've got it clamped to the table. And this thing is basically made out of aluminum. Now, can you see the little crank over here?
Yes.
Okay. There's no way to set this. There's no way to stop this. Okay. And it really controls this wheel. But the bottom two of the rollers are for U cane. These top two are for H cane. And I'm about out of half-inch U, so I'm using some 3/8. Okay, and you have to get it started kind of this way. Now, there's one thing you can't do with the cane bender. You can't set it to the diameter, stick a piece of cane in, turn the crank a couple times, and have the diameter circle that you want. You have to work it down slowly. So I do about a quarter or an eighth of a turn and run it all the way through. Of course, in this case, we're just going to do the circle and see how big it is. You have to do this back and forth. I do a half turn or a quarter turn of the crank and then run it through back and forth one time, twice, once in each direction to get it to slowly curve down. Now you see how it's slowly curving. You have to work it down slowly. Like I said, you can't just set the crank where you want it and see what you come up with. And now we're going to move the camera a little bit because I want to show this. See, it doesn't. You actually lose about 1.5 inches at the beginning of the cane. And the other thing that happens, hang on, where's my screwdriver? Where's my screwdriver?
Right here.
Okay. The other thing that happens on this, because I got this used, is that this screw on the part of the bender rides up. So I have to keep screwing it back down as I'm doing this. And you're saying, why don't you buy a new one? Do you know how much one of these things cost? You know, some of y'all have, regular jobs and you can afford to do this, but I can't, unfortunately. So, and I don't want this video to go way, way, way too long, because it will. It takes quite a few passes. It takes quite a few passes to get something like this done. Okay? So we're going to shut it off. I'm going to continue on the bending until I get almost to a circle. Alright? See, like I say, there's no, actually what would be an improvement, if there was some kind of ratchet around here so you could set this and stop it and have it stay in the same spot. Because if I have it like up here and I pull the cane out, it's going to drop down to the bottom. Okay, there's no way to set that. Which, well, considering what it's made out of, aluminum. But it is a handy tool to have. And I've heard people go, well, I can bend it by hand. I said, well, yeah, you probably could, but, it won't be, oh, it's going to tear the hell out of your fingers. It'll definitely tear the hell out of your fingers. So, let's go back to the long shot. Alright, go back to the long shot. And, okay, go back to the long shot. Okay. And I've got it clamped kind of in the middle of the table, because because this stuff will want to bend or twist. I've got a quarter of a turn. And this is what you have to do a circle. Well, people go, oh, well, that's a pain in the ass. Well, you ought to try bending this stuff by hand if you think this is a pain in the ass. See? Have to keep working on that screw. And, see? How small of a circle can you go? Well, let's try to find out, I guess. See, I've got almost a half circle. So, I'm going to have my assistant cut off the camera.